Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and it's time I came to you with a very difficult decision. So today's decision time, and I gotta tell you, it was a difficult one. I currently have two premium hotel credit cards at my disposal. I have my Ritz-Carlton card and I have my Hilton Aspire card through American Express. And so my Hilton Aspire card annual fee kicked in a few weeks ago. So $550 hit my account as an annual fee. This is my second annual fee on the card. I got my card last year. And honestly, folks, it caused me to do a lot of thinking. And I really like I had to think about it. I had to think about what I wanted out of my life for the next year, right? So what do I need this card for? Because yes, I love everything about the card and we'll talk about that, but $550 is a very real cost, right? We can talk about the coupons and what you can get out of it. But will I get anything out of it, right? That's the key question here. So anyway, let's talk about the Hilton Aspire card and whether or not I'm actually going to decide to keep it, cancel it, or downgrade it. So without further ado, I need to tell you about the super high bonus going on with the Aspire card. But before I do that, I want to ask you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps me to know that what I'm doing is helpful, and of course, that actually makes YouTube think that more and more people should see the content. So I would really appreciate it if you helped me out with that. But now let's get back to that bonus. With the Hilton Aspire card, you can get 175,000 Hilton points after spending $6,000 over the next 6 months after you open the card. And so this offer, according to Hilton's website, lasts until January 14th. So there's not really a rush here to do this. But if you do want to get started on living the diamond life, then I would definitely get sooner rather than later, but there's also some other Hilton cars that we can get to later, but Hilton's the one that I'm talking about right now. So let's take a look at the Hilton Aspire card. So we talked about the annual fee, $550. And let's take a look first of all at the multipliers that you get. So you get 14x at Hilton properties. And so with the diamond status that this gets you, it ends up being 34x per dollar on anything with Hilton. So if I'm staying at a Hilton and I'm going out to eat at the place, right? I'm getting 34 points per dollar by charging that to my room, right? So when my wife and I, when we stayed at the Waldorf Astoria in Orlando last summer, we went to the Bull and Bear, spent about $600 on dinner. It was amazing. But we got 34 points per dollar on that stay, right? Because of this card. That is insane, right? That's amazing. Now, you also get 7x on flights booked directly with airlines or on AmexTravel.com. And then you get car rentals booked directly with select rental car companies. And that becomes in clutch later, and we can talk about that. Then you get 7x on dining. So this is actually a pretty decent travel card as well, at least if you're traveling to somewhere that takes American Express. That's a big caveat. And then it earns 3x on everything else. And so this is pretty much a solid earner, right? So if you're someone who's in the Hilton ecosystem and you don't really care about transferable currencies, but you do want to earn Hilton points so you can actually make Hilton stays work for you, this could be a good card to actually put some of that dining on. Now, it does need to be said that if you used the American Express Gold card for that dining purchase, right? Like if you go to a restaurant, get 4x Hilton points per dollar. I'm sorry, 4x Amex points per dollar, and you convert those Amex points 1 to 2 to Hilton, that ends up being 8 Hilton points. So, basically, with that said, the gold card might actually be technically a little bit better for spend even if you're trying to only earn Hilton points. And so that needs to be said. Okay, so now that we've talked about the multipliers, before we talk about everything else, I want to talk about, well, me. So my website has a blog. I hope you check it out. The link is going to be in the description below. But I also offer credit card consultations. And so this video is going to be sponsored by me, actually. I'm not going to be talking about wallets or apps or anything like that because, well, I want to talk to you. And I want to talk to you about your credit card journey. So if you're someone who wants some a little bit more hands-on advice or kind of guidance on what you think you should do moving forward, go ahead and sign up for one of my consultations. I have a mini consultation, which is I think like 20 minutes or so. If you want something a little bit more in depth, then I do have a full consultation available as well. If you want some help planning travel, there's one of those options available for you as well. But anyway, I have a couple different options and I want to help you guys move, through your credit card journey as deliberately as possible. And so, anyway, that will allow me to make that happen. But anyway, thanks so much for letting me talk about that. Let's get back into the Aspire card. For the $550, what are the credits? What do you get that helps you to kind of make sense of that investment? And, it's a lot of money. It's an investment. We can talk about it. Now, the biggest credit, the big Highlander credit here is the $400 in resort credit. And so this is Hilton Resorts. And so it comes $200 every 6 months. So $200 January through June, and then $200 July through December. And so it's a huge credit. Now you do have to be deliberate about using this credit, right? So there's a specific website that Hilton has of hotels that actually apply for the Aspire Card Hilton Resort credit. And so make sure that the property that you're staying at is actually on there, and then put it on this card. But even so, you actually just can't use the prepaid rate. So you can't just do the base rate, the non-refundable rate. It has to be kind of the Hilton Honors rate in order to be able to actually apply to this credit. So that's important to note too. So that's great. $400, solid. That's, if you get full value of it, and to be frank, I do, right? So my wife and I, we stayed at the Waldorf for $200. That was nice. One time we stayed at, pretty much we stayed at the Waldorf, and then we used it, both times. So we actually kind of, the Waldorf Astoria in Orlando does take a deposit on the card, and so that actually counts towards this credit. And so we were able to use that. Both credits last year went towards a free night at the Waldorf, which was nice. Now, you also do get a $200 in flight credits. So and it comes in the form of $50 every quarter, and it's wide open. Any charge by any airline has coded. So I've done, so far, I have done taxes and fees for Virgin Atlantic have coded. Let's see, bag fees for Delta have coded. Let's see, we had Breeze Airways tickets, and then a separate Breeze Airways upgrade that coded. And then taxes and fees for Alaska reward bookings also coded. So that is kind of so far what I've done, and I've gotten full value of that out of that credit, right? I haven't spent anything more, and it definitely in a very real sense helped me in ways that I actually needed to be helped, right? So that was really solid. Now, it also does come with a clear credit, which is great, because if you're someone who has the platinum card and you want to give your player 2 clear as well, then the Hilton Aspire card is kind of really great there. So while player 2s can use the platinum clear credit, it's only 1 per card account, and so you need to have 2 card accounts with free clear in order to actually for both of you to get clear. And so that's it. I don't value it at $209, but it is something that is beneficial to me, because I would have been paying $119, I think, for her to get it anyway for the year, and so this saved me from that. And so already between the $600 and then the $100 ish, right? So we're at $700, which is far higher than the $550 annual fee. So if you're looking for a justification or a reason to say, okay, check that box, I get that value, then that's great. But, again, you have to be able to use it at the resorts, and then, you have to be actually flying somewhere. Now, United Travel Bank credits do work for this, so that's important to note too. Now, the kicker here is the free night award. So with Hilton, the free night certificates actually come through as there's not a point cap, as long as the days at a standard award night, and that property has a standard reward night available, and then this counts. And that's huge because of Hilton's latest devaluation. So some of these properties, like at Bora Bora or Hawaii or some others, can be 200 to 250,000 points per night. But if you have a free night award, it doesn't matter, right? So that's another reason why I plan on actually having 2 Aspires eventually next year, when I actually go through and kind of plan a trip to Edinburgh, because 2 free nights is going to be pretty huge for where we're staying. So that's going to be important. So those are kind of the biggie credits. Now let's take a look at some other benefits. So the other one that I really like is the Hilton Honors Diamond Status. So I have used the Diamond Status so much. So my wife and I, we stayed at the Conrad in London, St. James, and the Diamond Status gave us, first of all, free intercontinental breakfast, but it also gave us free hot breakfast. And so with the Diamond Status, you get kind of the nicer breakfast, right? So if I had just had the Gold Status, I would have been able to have access to like the breads, the croissants, not crepes, but the scones and things like that. But because I had diamond status, I got access to the hot bar in addition to anything on the menu. And so that was a specific thing that property gave me because I had diamond status. And so diamond status also gives you access to lounges if that property has one. And so the Conrad had an executive lounge, which meant I didn't have to book a room that had access to the lounge. So it saved me about £200 per night. And I still got access to the free food, the free drinks, unlimited, the nice roaring fireplace, the shower suites when we actually first get into London at 8 a.m. in the morning, the whole 9 yards. This is top tier. If you're traveling internationally and you're traveling at the kind of hotels that have lounges, diamond status is a must. So that's just take with that what you will. Now let's take a look at some of the other benefits of travel. So we talked about the credits. Now, the one thing else that I really want to talk about is the National Car Rental Emerald Club Executive status. So, I love National. So, I'm just going to paint a picture. So, my wife and I flew into Atlanta last weekend, actually. And so, we flew in kind of early, but we were arriving in Atlanta about 8:30 a.m. We got our bags. So because we were Sky Priority, we were flying in first. Our bags were actually waiting for us at bag pickup, which was kind of insane on its own. But then we had to, cross the street, go to the Sky Train, which is not the plane train. The Sky Train takes you to the rental car complex, which is a couple of miles away from the airport. And so we got on the train and it was packed. So there were 3 cars and standing room only, right? And barely that. Like I had people touching me on all my sides, like, just like jostling and everything. It was tight, right? And so my wife and I were like, okay, this is gonna be stressful, right? We were like, okay, wait a minute, let's this do we want to do this, right? However, with national executive status, not only do you not have to go to the counter, right? But there's a separate part of the way that so if you're not familiar with how National does business, if you're a member of their Emerald IO Club or their Executive Circle Club, you can just go out and pick your car. They don't tell you, oh, it's in row 3, spot H, and that's the one car that you have access to. No, you can pick anything that's in your tier. And so because this one gives you the executive aisle seat, you have the elite tier. So everyone gets out of the train and we're nervous. We're like, okay, is there even going to be a car for us, right? So many people are going. So all of a sudden, half the people went to the counters, right, for other places. But even all the people that were going to National with us, like the National section, they went to the Emerald Isle. We and 3 other people were the only ones going to the executive. So it went from having the most stress-filled day, possibly waiting an hour in line for a rental car, to fighting with literally hundreds of other people on the exact same train. There was other trains coming directly behind, to 3 other people. And so we got to pick whatever we wanted to pick. We kind of went around. So one time, so the last time we were in Atlanta, which was, I think that would have been in March before our last international trip, we went to the exact, so we paid for a Corolla, right? So you pay for the small compact car rate, and then we walked away with a brand new, had like 500 miles on it, Chevy Traverse with leather seats, heated seats, the whole 9 yards, right? It wasn't the nice one with the sunroof and everything, but it was nice, right? I felt good. It was nice. It was a nice car. I actually really want one now. But and so this time we didn't see any Traverses. We were kind of bummed out about that. But we did end up getting a Hyundai Tucson. There were a bunch of Equinoxes, RAV4s, Nissan. I think not Pathfinders, but what's the other one? Rogues. There were a lot of Nissan Rogues, and so a lot of different kind of cars that were definitely more bigger than the Corollas, and so this was nice, right? So, basically we just had to go through, and there was a little gash in the dashboard, and I just, when you drive through, you check out, and you give them your credit card information, and then your driver's license, and I actually put it on my Ritz-Carlton card because it gives me primary CDW, so I saved about $150 on that one, but it was just such an easy process, and having access to this just for having this card, right? That's insane, right? And I know some of you here aren't people that rent cars, right? When you travel, and that's fine. But if you're traveling in the United States domestically, then odds are you will need a car unless you're going to like New York or downtown Chicago or something like that. But most of the time, you will need a rental car, and National with the Hilton Aspire card gets it done. it just gets it done, right? So yeah, so that's an amazing thing. Plus, then you also get some protections. You get no foreign transaction fees, car rental loss and damage insurance. You do have to sign up for the premium tier in order for it to be primary, which is a charge for per rental, which I don't actually do because I get better coverage with this card anyway, and I don't have to pay for it. The only time I would do it on an American Express card is if I'm actually actively working towards a sign up bonus, in which case I would take advantage of that. But if I'm not working on a sign up bonus, rental cars are going on the Reds. And then you get delay insurance, trip cancellation, like the whole 9 yards. So it's an American Express premium travel card. So you get all this stuff. You even get cell phone protection, which is nice. So this card is amazing, right? Now, what did I decide to do? Ultimately, I decided I wanted to keep it, right? And the reason why I wanted to keep it is because, well, first of all, I'm flying to South Carolina to visit a friend later next month. And then so that booking actually went on this. So I got this quarter's airline charge. The airline charges are really easy to get value from. Don't ever really have to worry about that. And for the Hilton Resort credit, my wife and I are going to be staying at the Hilton Caribe in Puerto Rico and San Juan next month for the Creator Meetup. And so basically that is on the resort list. And so basically one night is going to be completely paid for with that credit. So that's huge, right? And saving me from having to spend $200 on that. And so, again, it's easy for me to use, so I'm going to keep it this year. But if you're not someone who's interested in using the credits, or at least the resort credits, then you might be someone who should probably kind of consider using maybe the Surpass card. So this one still has Hilton credits. It's $50 each quarter. And now you can't use them for gift cards anymore, sadly, but it's still reasonably easy enough to use because you can actually use prepaid rates. So you can actually, so if you're staying at some place for say 4 nights, right? The first quarter, you book one night, get $50 off. Second quarter, book 2 nights, the second night. So it's easy to do that to get full value from the Surpass card, but also only go on a trip once a year, right? But maybe if you're only going on a Hilton trip once a year, the Surpass card might not be the best card for you, but $150, it's hard to argue. There's a lot of value there. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate you listening to me talk about the Aspire card and kind of why I liked it and why I decided ultimately to keep it, despite the fact that I had to spend another $550. But there's a lot of value. I really like it. But anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you think, and I can't wait to talk to you later. Bye.